Hey guys, it's Zypic and welcome back to yet another Rust base build. Today I'll be showcasing my extremely strong double bunker solo duo base. After receiving so much positive support on the last Paradox bunker, I decided it was time to make a cheaper version of the base. The design incorporates 2 auto turret slots, an easily expandable roof access, over 20 large boxes of storage space, and finally 2 individual roof stability bunkers. The raid cost to all of your main loot will be approximately 35 rockets, and for those of you wondering, yes, the base does work on console. For just under 19,000 stone, 6,000 metal frags, and 300 HQM, you can find yourself in this base on wipe day. As I mentioned before, this base is just a derivative of the previous Paradox bunker, so if you're looking for something slightly larger, feel free to check that out in the top right. With all of that said, let's start by doing a quick walkthrough of the whole base. Heading through a basic 2-door airlock, we'll have a window on our right to see outside, and behind the garage door we have a second window housing 3 furnaces. Next, let's head over to the jump up of our roof access. On the way up, note that you can also open and close the garage doors to the auto turret from the inside. As you can tell, this is the most basic airlock roof access I can build, so if you do plan to build this base, I recommend adding in either peak downs or another level altogether. Now heading back downstairs, we'll go into the core of our second level. On the left side, we have a 6-box loot room with a campfire in the middle for some extra comfort, and on the right we have our tier 3 workbench, and then the entrances to both of our bunkers. As I spawn downstairs in my bunker bag, I want to mention if you guys like what you see and you want to see more base builds like this one, feel free to sub to the channel. It only takes 1 click and it really helps me out. With that out of the way, now downstairs in the bunker, we can see we have 5 large boxes, 2 small boxes, and 2 sleeping bags. For those of you who haven't seen this roof design before, this is a basic stability bunker that will fall when the twig is broken. With the first bunker open, let's spawn down in our second TC bunker and continue on the tour from there. Once again, behind the garage door we have 5 large boxes, 2 small boxes, and behind a window we have a furnace and our TC. The upkeep is on your screen now. And of course this bunker is also opened in the same way. I'll show you how to seal both bunkers up at the end of the video, but in the meantime, let's get right into the base build. I also want to mention that the twig in this bunker cannot be broken top down by any type of fire or splash damage. We'll begin by making this very simple starter base layout. Only upgrade this wall frame to wood for now, as it'll help us place in boxes in this loot room later on. Also, make sure both doors that you place down swing outward, and it'll create a basic airlock as you see here. Next, carefully place in your TC against the middle of this back right wall. If you did this correctly, you should have room to place a furnace inside the triangle. Note that the edge of the furnace is behind the connecting line of the 2 foundations, but hold off placing in the window frame just yet, as we're going to place in a few boxes beforehand. Make sure you can still build this window frame after placing in your second box. Once you have all 3 boxes placed, we can build in our window. Now let's build in the drop-down chute for our first bunker. Make sure you place the door to the drop-down chute on the side with the open square foundation. If you don't have the resources to craft a barbecue just yet, you can even use small wooden signs to jump up to the roof like this. But of course, I recommend replacing these for the barbecue as soon as possible. Next, we'll fill in the square foundation with walls and a roof tile. Now we'll place down 2 triangle foundations like this, followed by a square to start building in the next bunker. As long as both our bunker doors swing outward, we can get a nice airlock just like this. Now we can get our bunkers working. For this, we're going to need a little extra stability, so we're going to place in these floor frames on the back side of the base in the following locations. There should be a one-wall gap in between the two frames as shown here. And now over on the right side of the base, we'll place in a single triangle foundation, upgrade it, and then we can place twig on top for our jump up. Now we'll add in all of the honeycomb foundations we need to finish off the rest of the base. And here's that shown one more time from a top-down view if you need a little more help. Next we'll add in these half-wall height floor tiles, which will end up giving us more box space in the core later on. Now we can start securing all of the inner triangles with metal honeycomb. Once again, we'll place in a temporary half wall to get up to the roof. And of course, all the outer triangles can just be stone. It's important that before we honeycomb this back middle triangle, we upgrade the inner wall to armor. This will save you from anyone attempting to splash your bunkers with rockets. Next, we'll build in our roof honeycomb. For this, just make sure that the top of the roof is facing towards your metal wall so it honeycombs the base properly. And of course, do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll start doing our first upgrades to the base, starting by upgrading the roof pieces on the outside and also the middle square in between our bunkers on the inside. If you haven't already, don't forget to add in the tops to this honeycomb on the back side of the base. With the base reasonably secure on the outside, we'll head downstairs and begin work on our TC bunker. We'll start by removing the old sheet metal door and replacing it for a garage door. Now we'll place in our secondary bag, make sure it's as far to the right as you can get it. And as long as you built it far enough to the right, you should be able to place in this triangle floor tile on the half wall. Once you've placed down all 5 boxes, we can upgrade this wall frame to stone. And feel free to throw in a few more small boxes throughout the room as necessary. Now we'll begin upgrading everything to its final grade in the core. Obviously, if you don't have enough HQM right now, you can just use metal and upgrade it as you progress throughout the wipe. And of course, using a ladder here is all personal preference, but I do like to use it as it makes my life a little bit easier when getting around the base. Now outside, on the left of the base, we're going to add in our front door airlock. Next, we'll attach the second floor honeycomb to the tops of our roof pieces. The open triangle on the right of our roof pieces will be an auto turret slot on both sides of the base. Once again, just upgrade this wall frame to wood for now, as it'll make placing boxes much easier later on. Like I said at the start of the video, we're just going to build a basic roof access, but if you want to, feel free to customize it to your own liking. Now we'll place down all our front doors and windows. Just make sure your doors swing the same way mine do, so it creates a basic airlock. If you haven't already, don't forget to run up to the roof and fill in the back of the base's second floor honeycomb. We'll also go ahead and finish up the basic roof access with 2 windows and a single door. Now we'll begin work on the 6-box upstairs loot room. Before you start anything on the inside, make sure you have a garage door down in the slot. Unfortunately, placing down these 4 boxes in a circle pattern can be difficult for newer players. The recommendation I give to anyone struggling with this is to put yourself in a corner and line up the box flush with the wall. Once you have these bottom 4 boxes placed down, you can upgrade your wall frame to stone. You may notice that this isn't a half wall, so we can't place down a triangle for more box space. Luckily, this is super easy to do from the roof access. Simply just build over using twig roof tiles until you're behind the wall, and then place the triangle straight through. You can then fit up to 3 large boxes on this triangle, but personally I just like 2, as I feel like 3 is a little bit too crammed for space. Of course, if you haven't already, place down any tier workbench against the back wall in between your 2 bunker dropdowns. We can also build in these extra wall frames by our roof dropdown and also the one into the core. At this point in the base, I do expect that you have garage door researched and enough metal to craft them, so we're going to go ahead and replace all the double doors for garages. I always recommend having upstairs bags, especially in a bunker base like this, so place them in next to your workbench. And next, we're going to place in a barbecue and a couple small boxes underneath the drop down. Just be aware these should only be used as drop box storage, as they can demolish whenever you open up the bunker. I'll go into more detail about this at the end of the video. Next, we'll place in all the boxes and also upgrade the secondary bunker. Just like in the TC bunker, make sure that this first sleeping bag is placed as far out towards the door frame as you can. And just like before, once we have all 3 boxes placed down, we can upgrade the wood frame to stone. If you can manage to acquire a couple armored doors, obviously go ahead and place those down. And with the first floor now finished, we'll go ahead and upgrade the second and third floors to their final grade as well. It's important that the following 3 roof pieces all go to armored as soon as possible to avoid anyone top-down raiding your base. Once you get them, go ahead and place down auto turrets on the following slots, with garage doors covering it on both sides. Note that to close them through the wall, you need to be looking at the middle of the roller piece. Finally, throw a reinforced window on the TC. Firstly, let's go over sealing off the bunker if we have an armored door. Start by toggling the hatch on the door, and then move back and forth until you can place in a twig triangle through the frame. Now with the triangle roof piece ready to place, we're going to stand right in the center of our triangle foundation next to the door frame. You don't need to be right in the middle, but I'll go ahead and pick up the bag so you can see it a little bit better. Now while standing up, go ahead and find the following spot on the screen with your crosshair. Once again, there's quite a bit of room for error here, so don't worry about it being perfect. But now by simply crouching down, the roof should show up as blue and be placeable. Leave the floor tile as twig, and you can go ahead and upgrade the roof to whatever grade you want. Personally, I only recommend metal, as the raid cost stays the same whether it's metal or armored. I also want to mention that if these boxes go through the roof in any way, they'll also demolish when the bunker is broken, so be cautious about what you put inside them. With all that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a thumbs up and leave a comment, tell me what you want to see next, and I'll see you all in the next one.